Hello, my name is Mareike from by Mareike, and in this Kernowcraft tutorial I want to show you how to make simple charm hoops in whatever size you like. Let's start. Okay, so to begin with I want to go through all the materials and tools we're going to need. So first up is the wire. I'm using 925 sterling silver wire. You can use brass, copper, gold, whichever metal you like really. I use the diameter of 0.8 millimeter because that's quite good to go through ear holes, so I recommend 0.8 millimeter. Then we're going to need some tools, some flat pliers and some round pliers, or half if you have, that's also fine. Some shears to cut the wire, a soft hammer, a mallet, and a steel hammer with a flat end ideally. And then we're also going to need a piece of wood which is flat on one side, I'm going to explain later why, and a steel block. And lastly, if you don't have one of these bangle mandrels, it's going to be really useful to have one, but if you don't have that, you can use something that has the right diameter of the earrings. So I want to make 5 centimeter hoops today, and this rolling pin, by coincidence, has the right diameter. Just going to say, we're going to hammer on this, so it's going to leave marks. Maybe don't use your grandma's best rolling pin. Use an old one, use something else that will withstand a bit of hammering, and don't be disappointed if it leaves marks. Right, let's get started. First of all, we want to cut the wire in the right length so that we have the right size hoop. To do this, you can either calculate what a circumference the hoop has with a certain diameter. You can guess if you want about that size, go for it. I today want to make 5 centimeter hoops, so I can either calculate that or use my rolling pin, which has 5 centimeter diameter, and put the wire around and then cut it accordingly. I want to cut it in a way that the ends don't meet, so they should overlap a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie and just mark where I want to cut, where the overlap is, which is about here. The overlap is between ½ centimeter and a centimeter. And then you just cut it right here, and this will be the hoop. You might want to make 2 hoops, so you want to cut same length again. So next we want to work harden our pieces of wire. This just makes it a bit easier to work with afterwards. There are different ways, different approaches. I think this works best for me. What it does, work hardening, is that at the moment with a non-work hardened wire, I can quite easily bend it and it would stay like this. With this piece, you can see it's already straight and there is a bit of a jump to it. So this piece has been work hardened, which just means the metal is a bit denser, and it will not as easily bend into position but be a bit springy. So we want to achieve that. To do so, I'm going to put my wire on my little steel block, and I've got my piece of wood which is flat on one side. I've just taped it because I use it quite a lot and I didn't want any splinters. But I think originally this is from a picture frame that I broke apart, so just something that is flat on one side. We want it to be wood and not steel to not mark the metal too much. Wood is quite soft, so it will not leave marks on the metal when we do the following. We roll over the wire. This will make the wire more dense and will straighten it. We'll continue with this. You can basically do that for up to 5 minutes. I would really recommend to do it for a little while. There's no such thing as rolling it too much really, because we do want to work harden it, and the harder it is, the better it's going to work in the next steps. I've got my 2 wires now which are nice and straight, work hardened, and next I want to shape them into the round hoops. Now, using my rolling pin with the 5 centimeters, because it's been work hardened, it will spring back slightly. So it is a little bit simpler if you use something with a smaller diameter and wrap it around that first. What's going to happen is even when I wrap it around, it's going to spring open slightly. And now we have this overlap that we wanted. We can now go ahead and put it around our 5 centimeter model, use the mallet and tap on it. This will mean that it's going to take on the shape of the form underneath. If you do have a metal mandrel, go ahead and use that. And once you're happy with how round your hoop is, we'll go ahead and work harden it even more. This would work as it is. However, the bigger the hoop is, the easier it is to bend it out of shape. Even if you've work hardened it for a while, it might still, when you open it and put it around your ear, misshape in some form. So what I recommend doing is, this is going to be the top of the hoop. We're going to flatten with a flat hammer almost all the way around. This will just ensure that the metal is really springy, and when you open it to put it into the ear, it's not going to misshape and it's going to still be working as a put-through hoop. Now evenly hammered around, and you can already see when I pull it apart, it goes exactly back to where it was. And this is really what we want with a hoop, so that it stays nice and round. Next up is the top. What we want to do is to make a hook and an eye. So for the eye, I use my round pliers. For the hook, I'm going to use my flat pliers. If you have one that's half round, half flat, that's also absolutely fine. You can just use it accordingly. For the eye, we're going to grab one of the ends, pull it around into a circle. You might have to re-grab it and pull it again. And then once we have a circle here, we go to where the end of the wire meets after the rest of the wire. We're gonna grab it there and pull it slightly back to have an eye like this. Then on the other side, we want the hook. So we take the flat pliers, we grab it, don't leave too little space. There can be 1 or 2 centimeters behind where you grab it, and just pull it up. So it looks like this. So this will go through the ear and then hook into the side. And there we go. 2 simple hoops, nice and springy. And now you can put whatever charm you like on it. So here's the large hoop that we just made with 5 centimeters diameter. I put a little moon as a charm on it that I cut in a disc cutter. You can be as creative as you like really though. So other ones I've made, this little square with a hammered texture, or a little dish, a moon with a hole on the side, and a twisted piece of brass. This is also a brass hoop. So really you can get absolutely creative. Use clay, use little figures, anything that you can put through the hook onto the hoop. Even more than one thing. It's going to work beautifully and dangle really nicely off the hoop. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope it's going to be helpful to you. Remember, you can go any size. You don't have to do the big 5 centimeters. You can go really small and even use a ring mandrel, should you have one, to shape them. But the system, the principle for all is the same, and I recommend flattening them all because it just makes them nice and springy. Have fun exploring, and can't wait to see some of the hoops you make.